it's Hazel here again from Crochet Nuts. This tutorial is for a Sunshine Mandala. It can be worked in any colour and double knitting yarn. I'm using a 5mm hook. The colours that I've used are all bright because I think a mandala is meant to be a nice and bright project. I'll give a list of the colours that I've used below the video, so that you can either choose your own series of colours or copy mine. We'll do it in parts so that you can crochet along step by step. So we start with a chain 5, so we need to slip knot onto the hook and for this beginning part I'm going to use red yarn, and we're going to do the starting chain, and the first 2 rows will also be done in red. So we need to chain 5 and slip stitch into the first chain to form a circle. Into this circle we're going to work 14 half doubles. So the first stitch will be 2 chain, and that's going to count as the first half double. And then carry on, do another 13 half doubles into that centre ring. So we've got 1, 2, just in case you're not sure about the half double, it's yarn over, into the ring, pull up 1 loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at the same time. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 3 loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and through 3, and we carry on all the way around until we've got the 14 stitches all together. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You might have to slide the stitches along a little bit. Once you've done 13 half doubles, we're then going to join with a slip stitch into the second of those 2 chains that we started, that was counted as the first half double. So you should have 14 stitches altogether. We're now going to chain 4, and this is going to count as the first double crochet and 1 chain. Into the next stitch we're going to work a double, which is yarn over, into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. We're going to carry on doing this all the way around, so in each stitch we're doing a double crochet plus 1 chain in between. So yarn over, into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. This will give us, again, we've still got the 14 double crochets, and we'll have 14 1 chain spaces. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2, chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, through 2, chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, through 2, yarn over through 2, chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, chain 1. And we carry on in that same way all the way around. Get to the end of the round, we do the final double crochet, chain 1, and then we're going to join into the 3rd chain of the starting stitch and join with a slip stitch. So you'll now have 14 double crochets and 14 chain 1 spaces. So we now snip off the yarn, pull the loop through, and fasten off. I'll try and work these tails of yarn in as we go along to keep it quite neat. So I'm now joining in the second colour, which is the orange, and again slip knot onto the hook and join into any of the chain spaces. I usually try and steer away from where I've just finished off the previous round, just so that we've not got a bulk of tails of yarn all together to work in. So we join with a slip stitch, and we're now going to work a cluster stitch. So we're going to work 4 double crochets, but the part double crochets into each chain space. I'll show you how to do it. The first one is slightly different because again we've got to do the 3 chain as the starting double crochet, and then yarn over into the chain space, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, but we don't do the second half of the double crochet here. So yarn over into the chain space, yarn over through 2, and again we don't go through the second part of the double crochet. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's now leaving 4 loops on the hook, and it'll only be 4 for this first stitch, and then yarn over, pull through all 3, and that creates the first cluster. We're going to then do 2 chains in between, so there's 1 chain that finishes off the cluster and a second chain. Into the second chain space, the next chain space, we're going to yarn over into the space, and if you notice I'm actually catching the tail end of the yarn as well and working over that. So pull up the loop, yarn over and through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2. So you can see we've done 3 stitches. We're now going to do the final stitch, which is yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. We've now got 5 stitches on the hook. We come through all of them at the same time. Chain 1 to finish off the cluster and another chain, and then exactly the same in the next chain space. So we've got yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and through all 5, followed by a chain, a chain to finish off the cluster, and then another chain in between. Excuse me. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then again you can see you've got the 4 stems, 5 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 stitches, followed by chain 1. We're going to do this all the way around exactly the same. This is classed as a 4 double crochet cluster. And there's always a chain to finish off the cluster and a chain in between. And now I'm going to catch the tail of the red yarn as well as I'm working along. It just saves working all the ends in once you've finished. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, oops, and pull through all 5 loops at the same time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 and through all 5 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4 and pull through 5. You can always pause the video at this point if you need to catch up. But it's exactly the same stitch in each of the 1 chain spaces. You can easily check that you've got the right amount by checking that you've got 4 stitches in each cluster, and then the 2 chain in between each one. One, 2, 3 and 4. Chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, the 2 chains, and then we're on the final cluster. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over and pull through all 3, finish with a chain and then the extra chain, and then we're going to join into not the 3 chain start stitch, we're going to go into the top of the cluster with a slip stitch and then fasten off the yarn, pull the thread through and pull tight. The next row I've moved on to purple, but as I said before, you can use any colour combination that you want to use. I'm just going to stick with the same as the mandala that I showed you at the beginning. So again, we're going to slip knot the yarn onto your hook, and we're going to join in the chain space between the 2 clusters. So if we just join with a slip stitch into there, now in each chain space we're going to do 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles. So again, the starting stitch is going to be the 3 chain and that counts as the first double. So into that same chain space we're going to work a double, a chain and 2 more doubles. So there we've got 1 and 2. Then do 1 chain and go then into the next chain space and work 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, again followed by chain 1. We're going to do exactly the same all the way around. 2 double crochets, oops, chain 1, 2 double crochets and 1 chain, and then move on to the next chain space where we do exactly the same. 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles, chain 1, and then into the next chain space, 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles, chain 1. I'm again going to catch the thread of yarn, the tail of the yarn from the row before, and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles and chain 1. Don't worry if it starts to frill a little bit or if it puckers, because it will sort itself out on a previous round. So we just carry on in the same way right round to the other side, where we're going to join again to the 3rd chain of the 1st stitch. So in each chain space we're doing 2 doubles, 1 chain, 2 doubles with a chain in between each one, and I'll see you at the end of the round. On to round 5. Again join the yarn to the hook with a slip knot, and we're going to join in any of the chain space with a slip stitch. For this round we're going to work 2 double crochets into each chain space, so that's 1 between the 2 and 1 in the actual shell pattern as well. So we start off again with 3 chain, which counts as the first double, followed by 1 double crochet. We've got no chains in between this time, so it's just a straightforward 2 doubles in each of the chain spaces. So 1 will fall between, oops, I've actually done 3 there, just wait a second. So 2 double crochets in the chain space between these blocks of 2, and then also 2 double crochets in that 1 chain space that falls between the 2 sets of double crochets that we did between the previous row. And there's no chain in between, it's just a straightforward 2 double crochets in each of the chain spaces. And again I've come to the tail of the yarn from the previous row, so I'll actually work over that and catch it down. That's 2 into the next chain 1 space and work 2 double crochets. It's a nice and simple round, this one. So just carry on in the same way, working 2 double crochets in between each of the block of 2 and also in the middle of the block of 2. So it's 2 doubles in each of the 1 chain spaces from the previous round, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. And as we come to the last stitch, we're going to join into the 3rd chain of that starting stitch with a slip stitch. Fasten off, pull the end through the hook and pull tight. For the next row, regardless of what colour theme you've decided to use, I would recommend that this next row you would use a green yarn, because it's going to form the leaf of the flower for the following round. Start again with a slip knot onto the hook, and we're going to join the yarn in between any of the 2 double crochet and work 3 chain, which counts as the first double, followed by a chain. So we've actually done 4 chains. This is counting as 1 double and 1 chain, and into the same chain space we do another double, and this has formed a V-stitch. Going to work a V-stitch into each space between the 2 doubles from the previous row. So yarn over, pull up a loop through 2, chain 1 and another double into that same space, and then again into the next space, 1 double, 1 chain and 1 double. We're going to do exactly the same all the way around. So 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double. Catch the thread from the previous round on there. 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double. 1 double, 1 chain and 1 double. 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double. We're going to work the same way all the way round with a V-stitch in between each of these 2 double crochets. I'll just do a couple more. Double, chain and double into the next space, double, chain, double into the next space, double, chain and a double. So if you carry on working exactly the same, 1 V-stitch in between each of the 2 double crochets from the following round, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. And again we're going to join into the 3rd chain of the starting stitch, snip off and pull the yarn through. The next stitch that we're going to do is this tulip stitch, and you can see why the green forms part of the leaf that the little flower sits in. So again, with whatever colour you want to use for your flower, you will join with a slip stitch onto the hook. We're then going to work in between the V-stitch here where we've got the two, and join with a slip stitch, and again the first stitch is going to be 3 chain, and that's going to count as the first double. We're now going to do another 4 doubles into this same chain space. So we've got 5 stitches all together. You're then going to pull the loop a little bit bigger and take out the hook, and then into the top of the first stitch insert the hook, catch the loop from the last stitch and pull it through, and then we work a chain to finish off the flower plus a chain, and then we move on to the next chain space in the next V-stitch, where again we're going to work 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Pull the loop slightly, go in with the hook front to back in the top of the first double crochet, pick up the loop and pull it back through, followed by chain 1 to finish the flower and a chain to go in between. Again into the next space in the V-stitch we do 5 double crochets. Pull the loop slightly, front to back in that first double crochet into the top, put the loop back onto the hook and pull it through, followed by the 2 chain, and again into the next stitch where we're going to do 5 double crochets. Pull the loop up slightly into the top of the first double, loop back onto the hook and pull it through. Chain 1 to fasten off the flower and a chain, and again into the next stitch. We've got the 5 doubles. Pull the loop slightly into the first double, pick the loop back up and pull it through, and chain to fasten off. We're going to work this same flower all the way around and then join into the top of the first one. I'll do another couple. So we've got the chain to finish off and a chain in between, and 5 doubles, got a hair I think caught in the wool there. There are the 5 doubles, pull up the loop into the top of the first stitch, pull up the loop and pull it through, chain 1 to finish the flower and a chain to go in between. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Into the top of the first one, pull up the loop, pull through, chain 1 to fasten off, and then chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull up the loop, through the top of the first one, pull the loop through and chain 1, followed by a chain 1. So if you want to work this same flower all the way around, you can always pause the video or rewind a little bit and go back if you're unsure, but it's the same all the way around. In between the V-stitch, do 5 doubles, take the hook from the loop, go into the first of the 5 doubles with the hook and pull the loop back through, followed by a chain, and then there's 1 chain in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Through the first stitch, pull the loop, pull it through, and a chain to fasten off, followed by a chain, and I'll meet you at the end of the round. When you come round to the last stitch, we do the chain to finish off the flower plus 1 chain, and then we're then going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the first flower. Don't worry too much if your work is actually curling a little bit at this point. It will flatten out with the next round. Again, for the next round I'm going to use the same green as I used on the row before the flowers for the V-stitch. So we start again with a slip knot onto the hook, and now in between the 2 flowers we've got the 2 chain space. We're going to join into that chain space, and we're going to work 3 half double crochets. So the first one will be 2 chain, which counts as the first half double, followed by 2 half doubles. We're now going to do a front post half double around the top of the flower. So yarn over, put the hook into the space and bring it back out behind the flower and catch up the loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3. So we've actually worked the half double around the post there, and then into the next 2 chain space we're going to work 3 half doubles. So the half double is yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. We do that 3 times. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. And again we're going to do the front post half double around this flower. So it's yarn over into that 2 chain space behind the flower, pick up the loop, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3. so you can see the stitch has actually gone around the flower. Into the next 2 chain space we work again the 3 half doubles. So I've got 1, 2 and 3, and then again we're going to work around the post. So yarn over into the same chain space that we've done the 3 half doubles, behind the flower, pick up the loop, pull it through, yarn over and pull through all 3, and again 3 half doubles into the next 2 chain space. We're back again at the flower, yarn over into that same chain space, behind the flower, pull the loop, bring it through, yarn over and pull through all 3, and then back to the 3 half doubles. And then again we're going to catch the flower, so yarn over into that chain space that you've just worked the 3 half doubles, behind the flower, pull up the loop, yarn over and pull through 3, followed by the 3 half doubles. And we carry on working in this way all the way round, and it actually makes the flower stand out a little bit and gives it more definition. So again we're back to the flower, so yarn over into the chain space, behind the flower, pull up the loop, yarn over and pull through 3, and as I've got to where the previous tail of the yarn is, I'm going to work the next 3 half doubles over that as well as into the chain space. So we've got 1, 2 and 3. And I'll show you the stitch to go with the flower one more time. So it's yarn over into that same space that we've just worked into, behind the flower, pull up the loop, yarn over and through all 3, followed by the 3 half doubles. So carry on working in exactly the same way all the way around. In the 2 chain space we've got the 3 half doubles, and then we're going to work the next half double around this flower. 3 half doubles, work the next half double around the flower. So yarn over into the chain space, behind the flower, pull up the loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. At the end of the row we're going to join with a slip stitch into the second chain which formed our first half double. We're going to snip off the yarn and pull it through. This row concludes part 1 of the Sunshine Mandala. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in about a week for part 2. Thanks, bye.